I love our intro music, bro. That thing fire, boy. I love that. I love our intro music.
That hit,
Floyd, you finally got it right, bro.
After all these years,
Floyd done had us thugged out. We done played some backwoods country music. We done had what is it called? We had trap music at one point. We look. Floyd finally got it right. Floyd, man, look at him. Boy, you got it. Boy, that thing. Man, I do love our intro music now, bro. That's our song.
Yeah.
That's our song, y'all. Man. So another beautiful week. How's everybody's week?
Mine is great. It's been, especially when you get off work, it's the greatest feeling ever.
Oh, it's just being off work. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, before we really get into talking about everybody's day and all of that, let's make an introduction. So we were trying to figure out how we introduce her. What's your stripper name?
No, it
didn't. We, as her loved ones, we call her Meech. That's also her street name. But yeah, you know what? And we didn't even give her preview to being on the show today. We just happened to be at Sugar Jam, and we was like, oh, what's going on tonight? And, you know, anybody that knows me, I'm a live entertainment lounge kind of guy. And, you know, Forum got my group here tonight, Painted Soul. If you ain't got nothing to do, or if you got something to do, this is better than what you had to do. So come on up to the Forum and listen to Painted Soul tonight, man. Your soul will be blessed listening to their music, man. They're one of the best live unsigned bands I've probably ever heard. And she does her thing behind that mic. When I say she is a little Whitney, a little Alicia Keys, we can go down the list because she can hit every note. So if you ain't got nothing to do, come on up. We're going to be up here hanging out tonight. They go on at 8, and I think they're on from 8 to 12. So we was all hanging out, and Meech was coming up this way because she live out there where Jesus lost his shoes at Peoria area. And so she was close to here. So I was like, man, come on out this way. Love her company. She's just a great person with great energy. Meet y'all.
Hi, everyone. Hope everybody's doing their Happy Resurrection Day.
No, that's right. That is.
Yes, it's some
holiday.
people say Easter. I say Resurrection. I don't really celebrate holidays, but hey, whatever you go with.
Yeah. To each his own. Have somebody you pray to.
Right.
Meech, what was your reaction when I told you was coming on the show?
I was
don't use the words that you use with me.
I was shocked. I was like, what? Really?
But it was funny because when she was actually following me, and I said, Meech, I said, you're going to be on our show today. And she was like, no, that's not how I prefaced it. I said, have you ever been on a podcast? Why is everybody telling me I need to be on a podcast? She country, y'all, so this is how she really sounds. Why is everybody telling me I need to be on a podcast? Man, if one more person tell me I need to be on a podcast, I don't want to be on no podcast. I said, Meech, you going to be on a podcast. What we talking about? What we talking about? That's how it went down, y'all. I ain't lying, no.
That's exactly how it went down.
Yeah, it did. So, I told her what the topic was, and she actually just started like going in on the topic. I said, Meech, save it for the show. Save it for the show. So, we are honored to have her on our show today and bless us with her presence. Like I said, and I always say, I don't take anyone's time for granted because I understand how precious time is, and so if anybody allows you to have even a second of their time, it means something, and I advise you to value it. But the topic of the day is
you're invited to the cookout.
So my question is, right off rip, who's invited?
Who is invited? Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
So we're gonna unpack that, but we have to preface by talking about what do we mean when we say you're invited to the cookout?
Does it mean our own people or outside people?
Great question. So typically it's a saying throughout the Black community that we say, hey, anybody hear us say that, they're gonna think, oh, I want to go eat.
There's the potluck.
It's a phrase, and typically people in the Black community or people affiliated with the Black community know what, hey, you're invited to the barbecue means.
Right.
What it means when we say you're invited to the barbecue, that just means that you understand the Black culture. You know what's going on in the Black culture. You keep yourself abreast to current events in the Black culture. You have basically earned the right to be here, to be at the barbecue. Not everybody, like the sign say on the stove, on the front door of the stove, we reserve the right to refuse service to anybody.
Right.
And so we reserve the right to not invite you to the barbecue.
That's true.
Hey,
whether you're in the circle or out the circle.
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly. And you can look like the people at the barbecue and not be invited.
All skin folk ain't your kinfolk.
That's true.
That's very true.
That's true.
Yeah.
But we want to unpack that in all seriousness. We want to unpack that because I feel like, especially with what's going on today, it's important to understand. I think as Black people, we need to understand our culture. We need to understand what's going on in our community, and really how to get involved. And so when we say that you're invited to the barbecue, we're saying that if you weren't already invited and we give you a formal invite to the barbecue, this is how you can be involved. That's in essence what we're saying.
Right.
This is how you can be involved.
Right.
And you don't have to be a certain ethnicity to be invited to the barbecue.
That's right.
You just have to bring something to the barbecue.
What is that to bring? Can you give us some lists?
I'm gonna name one, but then we'll go around the room and we'll talk about it.
Okay.
I think really anything of value where it's educational to the Black community, such as we talked about it earlier, financial literacy. If you have a background in finance, that's something that you can bring to the barbecue.
Yes, teach us something.
And teach us about financial literacy, because that's not something that's readily available to us in the Black community. And I think it, for me, it's one of the most important things is financial literacy. Lloyd, what would you say?
I would say more so education.
Oh, nice.
Education in what way?
In the way that just being that person to educate on different types of aspects when it comes to science, when it comes to just anything part of education, pretty much. Yeah.
I was talking about that earlier today with Tim about finances. And one big thing, I said, I want to go on a date to actually learn something. Because if anybody doesn't know this, I'm a sapio, right? If anybody don't know what a sapio is.
Explain to our people what sapio is.
I'm a person, and I'm not going to say the A word, but I'm going to say I'm a person that is intrigued by learning things. The other term, go look it up, Google it. So I won't say it on here. But I'm intrigued by learning different things from not just you giving me information, but also me giving you information. And so we talk about who's invited to the cookout, just not our people, but outside people, right? So if you can bring something to the table, and we're not talking about the table that everybody else talk about on the podcast, we're just saying, what can you bring? What can you teach us? What can you school us? Because in biblical sense, it says, iron sharpens iron, and another man sharpens another man. So if we can't bounce ideas from each other, why are we talking?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that really, you'd be surprised at the number of people that know more about our Black history than we.
Fact.
You can look all over social media. I forgot what the gray hair white lady is that's on there.
I love her. I forgot her name. She put
she put white people in check.
check.
Like
the students, like she was giving them a kiss of actually being black, and they couldn't. They fold under pressure. They folded.
Oh yeah.
So how you think we feel every day? You know?
Yeah.
Ooh,
But you gotta look at it too, because when it comes to white people in general, because there's white people who started organizations for black people.
Mm-hmm.
Black Lives Matter.
NAACP. I mean, NAACP.
Yeah.
Started from white folks.
Uh-huh. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know. You learn something new every day. But we have to understand, like, this just didn't start. This started hundreds of years ago, where other ethnicities were slaves as well as we were. They went through some of the tumultuous times that we went through. We talk about the Asian community. Asians were slaves. Mexicans were slaves. Right. And then as time progressed, when you talk about generations, I feel like just because you are a product of a specific generation and they did things a certain way, that doesn't mean that you have to carry on that tradition. And so you have some white people that they grew up and didn't like what their white family members were doing and what they stood for.
Right. Exactly.
And they bucked against that system. They said, no, I don't see color. And so those are the people that joined forces with us and they helped us. We're going to take a deeper dive into that over the next couple of weeks. We have some Black history historians that will be coming in, and we're going to talk about that because a lot of people think when we talk about slaves that it was just Black people. It wasn't just Black people. Absolutely. And so I don't want to unwrap that right now, but I just wanted to hit on that is we need people that know our history to come into the Black community and teach our kids because, we all know that they're scrubbing out whatever Black history they were, right, which wasn't much. Yeah. And the fact that when we were learning Black history, it wasn't our true history. Yeah. We was learning everybody else's history and how it pertains to Black people, but we really weren't learning and we weren't taught the correct history. Like, bro, over the last 10 years, I really found out what we invented. How much of the stuff that we invented, and when I tell you it's everything,
it's a lot of things, but they hide the truth, right?
It's everything, right? And then as a child, we all grew up watching The Lone Ranger.
Come on.
And now you find out the story behind The Lone Ranger, Boss Reed. Like, he was the Lone Ranger, a Black man. But it definitely wasn't going to happen back then. He'll be in the face of the Lone Ranger. Right.
Just like the ones who invented all those appliances and everything that was invented. Yeah. They had to put somebody's face behind it. Yeah. So they had to put a white person.
Exactly.
They talk about Thomas Edison and then the light. He wasn't the one inventing the light. They talk about the Wright brothers being the first ones to fly a plane. They weren't the first ones. It was two brothers. That Columbus discovered America. That wasn't true. We're starting to find out that all of the things that we have celebrated for so long that was theirs, that we thought belonged to them, we find out is ours, and they're still in it.
That's why they're trying to erase history now.
Exactly. So and it's because with the advent of TikTok, which I love TikTok because you can find so much stuff and information on TikTok that you can't find on Facebook or Instagram because it's not governed under the same rules that Facebook and Instagram is. So, bro, I have so much DIY stuff there. I have so much educational stuff when it comes to your health. And then a lot of my hobbies, I can go on there and find out information. Man, I love TikTok. But
and that's the reason why they're trying to ban it too, by the way.
And because of it, we've educated ourselves about some stuff that they didn't want us to know. And because of that, now they have somebody in office that has the authority to wipe it all out. And they're wiping out every part of our history. I told you the other day, I was talking to somebody when it comes to our veterans that are buried at the Memorial in
Mhm.
D.C.
Yeah.
They're erasing the plaques, which talks about their accomplishments, both Black people, Mexican people, Asian people. They're erasing all of that off the headstones. Everything where it talks about their accommodations and their achievements. They're wiping all of that clean. They're wiping all of that clean. They not only don't want you to be able to reference it in on social media or going to like the archives and all of that. They don't even want you going to the sites and seeing their accomplishments. Yeah. And it's sad, but you know that's the world that we live in now. And that's the reason why I'm so grateful for our platform is that we're not governed and told what we can say and how to say it and what we can do.
Unapologetic.
So, unapologetic conversation.
That's right. That's my old Instagram name.
Yeah, we're
unapologetically Michi.
We need to see that.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
We want to know what you unapologizing for.
Just being me, being a Black woman. You know, like I was telling you earlier today, I come from an industry was male predominantly, and there's a lot of YTs. So I can even tell you a situation that happened.
What's YT?
You know, we got to keep them up to date. Yeah.
What's YNs?
YN?
Do anybody on here know?
Somebody. What's YNs?
Construction. No plant life.
Yeah. What's YNs? I hear people referencing.
Y'all know what YNs in the chat? Please let me know. I got
let us
people.
know what YNs.
Tell me what YNs are. We know
I know you know what YNs are.
We know what YTs. Young ninjas. Young ninjas.
Is that what they said?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't know that either. You know, I'm not up with this little new
So you just was talking about
I was talking about
what YT is.
YTs, we know what that is, but I didn't know about what
I didn't know what YT is. I'm glad I wasn't just running around using it. YT. That's my YT over there. Y'all better start explaining to me before I start using words that's going to get me in trouble.
Right. E-Money, don't laugh at him. Don't laugh at him.
Look, LOL, young ninjas.
See?
I knew you knew, V. V, if anybody knows,
you
V keep her ear to the ground. V keep her ear to the ground. She know what's going on. But yeah, man, you were saying something, weren't you?
I was talking about YTs, but you talking about YNs. I'm just like, what?
Well, you got on the subject and all these abbreviations. And
I know. What's about that? Y'all got to teach me up. I'm just 34. I'm trying to still, you know.
I think it's been a couple of years. LMK.
LMK.
Let me know.
Yeah. Why it took y'all a minute?
I'm like,
you know.
Y'all both of y'all mouth was open.
That's the pause at the end. Yes, Ebony. Ebony, yes. Because we looking at you like, really? You know?
No, y'all didn't know. Y'all didn't know. Don't be trying. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, but
she said she still don't understand how it applies to the seasoned folks, though. B.
I still don't understand how it applies to us seasoned folks. That's my new name. Well seasoned.
I call you a silver fox. I call him a silver fox.
Seasoned. I like that, B. I'm still in that. B, what you mean that you still don't understand how it applies to us seasoned folks? What do you mean by that?
Let me know what YN.
Yeah, tell me what did you mean by that statement? We'll backtrack. We'll circle back. We'll circle back to that. You put that up. But yeah, man, it's let's get back to this. She said you're welcome. The Cookout.
So can I just like say we talk about Cookout? Let's talk about celebrities, right? Okay, let's talk about like Travis Kelce. Is he invited? Is he invited to the Cookout?
Hold on. First of all, just because you keep up with the latest sneakers, just because you got some Black friends, because you know the lyrics to rap songs, and because you've dated a Black girl, does not make you validated to attend the barbecue. It really doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. I want to know, how have you contributed to the Black community?
Come on, was he walking through the Black Lives Matter in 2020 when the whole George Floyd situation? Was you there for that?
Yeah, I mean,
Did you
especially
contribute?
when you have, and for me, if you have a platform, and you don't have to come out of pocket. A lot of times, it's just what did you do with your platform to help push us forward? What did you do? Because we look, y'all. It ain't no secret. We all know that everybody loves our culture. Everything about our culture, the way we talk, way we dress, way we dance, the whole nine. Everybody loves our culture. But the problem that I have is it's okay to love our culture, but what have you done to contribute to our culture?
Yep.
That's the question that I want to ask. I love when I go out and I see people that don't look like me, that dresses like me, that you know, and it is like me because when we research the history of clothes and shoes, music, it all circles back to us. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying is that I don't mind people enjoying our culture. Like it's bad enough we don't get credit for it, but if we can see it, I don't mind it. But don't just use us for our culture. That's the problem that I have.
So you say you don't mind it, and you know I have an issue when I first got here when it comes to our brothers.
Oh, here she go.
No,
I should have had an interview with you before.
Then we talk about it, right? We talked about it. So, like for me, when I first got here, I'm from Houston, Texas, so I'm from the South.
All the way south.
Don't start.
Okay.
So, I'm from the South, and so a lot of us we are with our brothers and sisters. However, out here, I feel, and what I have gotten accustomed to me, and this is just how I deal and compartmentalize, is that a lot of my brothers, I feel that it's okay for my brothers to be out here and date outside their race without any judgment. This is the only state I feel that they can do that. Is that true? We're not talking about LA because it's a mixture. However, we're talking about here.
So,
because it's not a melting pot just yet.
So let's unpack that. So I think the biggest thing you got to look at when it comes to interracial relationships, and that's black, white, Asian, black, white, black, whatever it is. First thing you have to do is look at the people that you have access to. You have to look at the population. I know when I got to Arizona, and I got to Arizona in '94, we were only 1% of the population.
That's true.
And I think now we're what, like 6%?
About 6 to 8%.
Yeah, we're about 6 to 8%. So you have to understand that and it's not just not relationships and dating. So if this was a blue collar town where they didn't have any office jobs or any high tech job, it was all blue collar work. It was all steel mills and factories and this and that. Where do you think you're gonna work at? No. If it's only blue collar work, what kind of work do you think you're going to do? I do blue collar work. You're going to do blue collar work. And why is that? Because that's all you have access to. And I understood that. So as far as relationships, people ask me all the time, hey, what is your type? First of all, I think having a type is the worst thing that you can have. Having a type limits you in every aspect of dating and relationships. Having a type is the worst thing that you can have. But coffee good with cream, but better when it's big. But this is the thing is I say this all the time, with every decision you make comes it's a choice, and you consciously make a choice. And so do we really want to ask people to stay inside their race when it comes to that, when we're trying to create an environment where our kids feel comfortable with being with any races? Or are we looking to segregate ourselves?
And that's the thing, though. It's like once we get to that point of having not having options, then that messes the whole trajectory of everything up.
But I don't mind the interracial. The only thing I feel some way about is when my brothers
Choose one over the other.
they talk down about their people like
Yeah,
your grandmother looked like me, your mom looked like me.
no.
Don't do that. If your preference is your preference, I don't care. But don't slander and talk
Yeah.
about your own people. That's
Yeah.
my issue. I don't care. Love is love. And if you find something outside of your race, somebody who understands you, who gets you,
Right.
okay. But in the process, don't talk down because we're cut from the same cloth, which some men fail to realize. And he even said it earlier today that some men that act like that is insecure. I've been out here since 2022, right? And a gentleman had told me, like, you got the whole thing, but however, you look like you come with a lot. To who? To you? Because why?
Yeah, that's definite insecurity. And look, life is like this. Life is choices and decisions. And for me, I understand that it's easy for somebody that doesn't have parameters to operate in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give myself boundaries. I don't give myself parameters. So for me, I don't have to tread lightly in certain aspects of my life.
Right.
I can just I can
Move around the
freely,
cabin
I can
freely.
I can freely move how I see fit. But also, you got if I'm playing devil's advocate, especially out here, and I've encountered that. In every race, nobody owes you anything.
Right.
And I feel like in the black community, with men and women, and since we're talking about women, I've encountered that where I've been out with a white girl and got dirty looks, and I've even had people that I know, black women that I know, that would like I that would tell, oh Tim only dates white girls. Okay, if I showed you the spectrum of people that I've dated, it's the reading rainbow. Like I'm all over the place, and I say that because I feel like people think just because you are a certain ethnicity that you're obligated to act and do certain things. But this is the other thing I would say too is if you want something, and it's no different than asking God for anything. Is when you ask God for something, you have to also be ready to receive what He has for you. And so when you're talking about relationships and this and that, like I've been out here a long time and I've encountered some black women that aren't nice. And
But why
and,
you
and
think
they
that?
and they it first of all, nobody should have control over whether or not you treat people a certain kind of way. I don't care what you've been through in your life. It does not give you a right to carry that over into every aspect of your life or even to the next day. If a black man treats you a certain way one day, that does not give you a right to treat a different black man a way based on how that person treated you.
So one of my friends on here said, "What is he talking about? What is he talking about?" So when it comes to that, we cut from the same cloth,
Yeah.
and we've gone through so much. Every time something happened to our brothers as women, we are the first on the front line for you guys, and it's not always
That's
reciprocated. Okay, so you have to understand from a woman's aspect of a lot of things and why we feel the way we feel when we see you with another race, because you have other brothers who don't think like you or you that make it seem like we're just beneath and all the scum of the earth.
Well,
Because yes, this happens. I'm telling you from the experience, not from myself, but there's other women that I've encountered that feels the same way.
Oh, there's a lot of black women that feel that.
Like I said, I don't mind because I can hang with the best of them.
Yeah.
However, it's just for us, it's like when men tell you, you got it all, but just because she's allowed you to do what you want to do and we don't, that doesn't make it she's better. She's just gonna put up with something that we not because we know our worth, and that's what it goes down to.
And I will say this: the strength of a black woman is not seen in any other ethnicity like a black woman. And I think other women in other ethnicities they admire that and they try to replicate that.
And they do.
They will never be able to replicate that. And as far as I've experienced this too, and she's absolutely right. I know guys that say that black guys that say they will not date a black woman. And for
Self-hatred is
for
real.
me, it makes me throw up in my mouth to hear that, because for me that looks bad on you, because that shows you that you're not strong enough man to handle the strength of a black woman.
Right.
And so for me, you're a coward. You're a coward because you choose the easy route. And so for me, that's why I say I don't have a preference. If you like me, I'm equal opportunity. If you like me, I like you.
Yeah, I don't discriminate.
But what I would say for a strong black woman, and all of our black women I feel are strong, is that's a built-in weeder outer. Because the thing is, like, if your strength comes across to any man to where you make them feel insecure, that's not the person for you.
Exactly.
Don't waste your time. And it has nothing to do with ethnicity. They can be black, they can be white. And so for me, I love the strength of it. I love it. I love it. But I also, like you said, I've encountered to where, I've even gone up to try to have a conversation with a black woman. First thing to come out and say, "Do you like black women?"
Yep, I think I asked you that question.
Like, what kind of lead in is that? Like the first, like I'm asking you, so how are you doing? How you like it? Or what's going on with you? Or are you single? Do you like black women? I'm talking to you, you know. And I feel like we need to get out of that mindset, because we have a tendency to carry over things that were done to us. And I think that's the reason why a lot of black men come out here and say, "Hey, I don't date black women," is because they don't want to put in the work.
No,
And two,
lazy.
they've had bad experiences with black women. The other thing is they know that they can do with white women what they can't do with black women.
Yep, and that's what it boils down to.
And that's to each his own. I'm not knocking anybody.
Are they invited to the cookout though?
And that is what I said when I said, even if you look like the people that's throwing the barbecue, does not give you an automatic invite. Because I will tell you this: those same black men are out here in Arizona to say they don't date black women. I guarantee you they're from a predominantly cultured black state, and they don't act like that when they go home.
Bum, 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 bum.
So, and being out here as long as I have, you get a lot of people, both men and women, they come out to Arizona and reinvent themselves.
Right.
They become somebody that they weren't at home.
So that's like that in Houston. You go a certain part, because Texas is so big, but Houston is big too. You can stay in the worst part of Houston, but you move to Pearland or Missouri City, you get Katy, you live a whole different life.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. So what he's saying is not, and coming out here, you can kind of start over. I have no desire to go back home unless I'm visiting, because I've outgrown it. I just outgrown it. I just want something different. What's the difference between here? Because it's kind of similar. Scottsdale is like the River Oaks in Houston, to be honest with you. It is. It really is. Sugarland, all those places like the River Oaks. But I like it out here because it's something different. It's something that I'm not accustomed to, and I'm okay with being uncomfortable.
Yep, right.
I'm okay with that, because it's teaching me and it's lighting a fire up in me to want to do and strive for excellence. That's just how I am. So. And
I tell everybody that comes out, especially because we hang out at Sugar Jam, and so you meet people that are coming through that are out on vacation, and you talk to them. And I have yet to meet somebody that was out here on vacation that'd be like, what, I ain't ever coming back to it. Again, me myself, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but everybody that comes out here has nothing but positive things to say. They may, if Sugar Jam is like their first stop, they're like, okay, I'm glad I'm somewhere where black people are.
Yeah,
where else can I go where there's other black people?
Right.
And I describe Arizona. I say like this, and I tell people, before you come out here, don't come out here comparing Arizona to where you're from. I've lived in 30 of the 50 states, including Puerto Rico. Lived, not visited. I've damn near visited every state, but I've lived in 30 of the 50 states, including Puerto Rico. Yeah. I've traveled all over the world. There is not another state like Arizona. Arizona is different.
It
so
is.
If you come out here with the mentality that you're looking for a comparison of home,
you're gonna get your feelings hurt.
You're gonna get your feelings hurt, and you're gonna be disappointed, because it's not. Arizona is a place of opportunity,
Right.
especially for us. Because I'd use the example, okay, if back home in Illinois where I'm from, if I wanted to open up a barbershop, I'm competing with probably 39,000 family members that own barbershops and salons. Come out here and it's not so prevalent, there's more of an opportunity.
Right.
There's opportunities out. But don't come out here saying, okay, I want to be around black people. Yeah.
There's so much out here, though.
It's so much opportunity.
Like
out
if you
here.
like hiking, water,
Oh,
or like just adventurous individual, like you should come out here and just have. I just seen Kim talk about that on here. That's one of my places on my list. Yeah, come out here, visit. Just have an open mind, right?
Yeah.
Just like me. Okay, let me tell you a fun fact. I was in Utah for 6 months. 6 months, and I was a triple minority. I was a woman, I was black, and I was non-Mormon for 6 months. But it was a beautiful sight. It was so beautiful just to see the nature and how
experience how other people live.
Yes, and it was so different. And it's like, have your minds open. Whether it's bad or good, you learn something from it. You know what I'm saying? You could put that under your bucket list, your belt. Yeah, I did this. Say that. It's a wonderful thing. I love it here. I don't plan on leaving. That's just me. Now somebody wants to leave, but I don't plan on leaving.
So, Arizona. We were talking to the guy that was sitting next to me today at Sugar Jam. He's from Baltimore. And he was like, man, I got out here the other day. He was like, I did something that I thought I would never. And I'm thinking like he's gonna tell me this elaborate story. He said, man, I did something that I thought that I would never do. It's like I went hiking.
Oh, okay.
But that just goes to show that experiences that you have in other states, like how you talk about, is be open when you go to other states, because I think this is what leads to a lot of ignorance and a lot of divide and a lot of separation and segregation, is that we don't take the time to understand other people's cultures or how they live. So we have this preconceived idea of how everybody lives, but then are not open-minded enough to go really find out how they live. And like you said, you were a triple minority in Utah. But that experience there opened your eyes to a lot of things, whether it was negative or positive. Now, when you talk about Utah, you're talking from experience. You're not talking from somebody that's just forming an opinion based on somebody else's conversation.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people, too, about traveling, getting out traveling, seeing the world. We've been programmed to think that the U.S. is up here and everybody else is down here. But when you really get out and travel and you spend time in these countries, you understand that the gap is not as large as we've been led to believe.
Right.
And a lot of these places, we're actually at the bottom and they're at the top. Oh, yeah,
most definitely.
Are we seeing it now? The people that are aware or woke, as they want to say,
it's being exposed.
Yes.
It's being exposed. And that is the reason why, and I don't want to digress, and we're not going to dive into politics, but I say this, that is the reason why we needed Trump in office, because when every time he's in office, we learn so much, not only about the world and what's going on, we learn so much about ourselves. I could tell you, during his first term in office, I learned more about my Black history during that time than I had in probably years. It's because we were drawn together, and it was important for us to know who we are if we were going to fight against the machine. And so I think we're at that point now, but now it's national, it's world. So now you have all these other countries that are coming on social media telling us, like, hey, y'all been spending $30,000 for a Birkin bag. We're about to tell you where it originated from and what it costs to. They won't tell you, but we're going to tell you what it costs to make it, and we're going to make it available that you don't have to go through them. You can go directly to us since we're making the product anyway. And instead of $30,000, we're only going to charge you $1,500 for it. People don't realize how big that is. That is major.
Because the president of China had came out like how we were talking about last week about how the imports and exports. And so basically, he came out and was like, "Look, we already got you Wish. We already got you not Wish, Temu,
Yeah.
Temu and Sheen,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
So
Sheen.
yeah, so basically he was like, yeah, we got you all day. So now we're gonna create another outlet for you, and so basically you can purchase
Bro.
all these.
So it's
products.
reasonable.
I've been doing all of that stuff for years, years and years. And what really kind of stopped me, and I, I really wasn't doing it a lot, but I've been doing it a long time. It's just that the shipping time.
Yeah.
You will order something, it may take you 3 months to get it. And so what China is telling you now, we're cutting down on shipping times. Now you order something, we can get it to you in less than a week.
Yeah.
And what we talked about last week, and this is just the rewind, China is also saying that not only the products that we've made, that we've shipped to them to sell, but now we will recreate the products that are originating in the U.S. And you can buy those from us too. And we're going to mark those down at cost.
Yeah.
And so the downside of that too, because you have to understand all sides for you to be able to really understand how important this is. But the bad part of that, then it takes away from local manufacturing. There's going to be people that lose jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to understand that, there's people that lose jobs. But just think about the amount of money that people have been spending on merchandise, apparel, and all of this stuff, paying ridiculous prices. Louis Vuitton T-shirts will run you $180, $200. A sweatshirt, some of the major brands, you're paying $500. And I'm a manufacturer of clothes, so I know materials, I know brands, and a lot of this stuff, like I buy this stuff wholesale. And so when you talk about buying a T-shirt and it's an $80 T-shirt, that T-shirt at the most wholesale is going to cost you $5. But because a Gucci or a Louis Vuitton took it and I know how it all works. they either did sublimation or they did direct to garment or however they did they print. It's something, if you did direct to garment, it's literally sending it in, somebody putting it in the system, printing it on some plastic paper to where you could take that plastic paper, put it on top of a shirt and heat press it on, and you got it. They did that same thing in selling that T-shirt, that $5 T-shirt for $80 to $200.
I have a question about that. So why do you think our community is so fixated on the
name brands?
Name brands? Because I'm not a person of that. I mean, it's nice, it looks good, but I'm just not. Anything I put on, I make it look good.
Well, the thing about it is we have a tendency that where we want to feel to be a part of something. We want to be, and
the end.
We want to be them in the aspect of,
and they want to be us.
We want something that the average Black person can't have. We want to be
to show status. One of my followers said
it is. It really is. It's just to show status.
That's exactly what it is.
But what China is letting us know now is like, you're actually an idiot if you go out and buy that $300 T-shirt, because we made it.
Your lights off.
We made it for $3 and gave it to them for $6.
Yeah.
And they resold it to you for $300. So you actually look like an idiot.
But they profiting.
Yeah, their profit margin is ridiculous. My advice, it's so easy to do. If you are out here and you like wearing a specific thing or you like certain things, it's so easy to look, man. Start an LLC. Go down to your local government, I forgot what it's called, but you go down and get a transaction license with your LLC. And they'll give you a transaction license. You take that transaction license, go to a wholesale company that only deals with people that have the proper licensings and certificates, which transaction license is one that will let you buy wholesale. Go down to there. We have McCreary's here. We have Sanmar. Go down and get you some of them high quality blanks. All you got to do is go online and find you a picture, find you a high resolution picture of that of that logo, whether it's Louis Vuitton or whatever it is. Get a high resolution picture and go to any of these print companies and say, hey, I want to DTG direct to garment, put this on a film for me, and then I go home and or you have them heat press it on whatever that garment is. Mm-hmm. That at the most would cost you like $9, because each one of them films are probably $1.25. If you do an 8x10, it'll probably run you like $1.25, $2 at the most, and that's expensive. And so you got to look. You just bought a $3 T-shirt, same T-shirt, whether you do 50-50, where you do 100% cotton, whether you do 60-40, mm-hmm. or you do a tri-blend. Tri-blend being the most expensive, which a tri-blend right now, I go on my wholesale T-shirts and get them for $5 or $6. Sometimes they have them marked down to $4. Mm-hmm. You go get the DTG of that logo or whatever that image is, they may charge you $1.25 for one image. Take that home or take that to another print company, have them press that on a shirt, and you got that same shirt that you're finding at any of these high-end department stores, and you paid less than $10.
I hope y'all writing this down.
I'm trying to hit them to the game.
That's trying to educate the people.
Right. That's where that education comes from.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So those people like this is invited to the cookout. Like
right.
Literacy, financial literacy.
Exactly. And so this is the thing is, man, we like it was so important what you just said. It's like we have to understand that the Black culture makes the apparel. The apparel doesn't define us. Like we're the ones. People see it on us and like how it looks on us. Not so much the apparel. Man, we made Ralph Lauren polo billions of dollars.
And then they talk about us in
then
interviews.
They told us they didn't make their clothes for us.
Yes. It's a slap in the face.
Who's that? Tommy Hilfiger.
Gucci was one of them too.
Tommy Hilfiger, yep.
Yeah.
Gucci was one of them too.
Yeah. But this is the thing is, they know we're not going to stop wearing it because that's what defines us. That's what gives us the status.
And that's why they can't take us serious. That's why when we talk about the LGBT coalition, okay, I do say that. Don't get offended, but that's what I say. The Rainbow Coalition, they are able to stand together and not like, no, we want this and this is what you're going to give us. You know what I'm saying? And so if we can't stand for something, we'll fall for anything, and that's what they see.
Well, it's because it doesn't take much for us. All we got to do is dangle what's that that money that they give out, what's that check that
the stimulus?
Yeah. All they got to do is give us a stimulus check and we swear up and down they love us.
But we're so inviting and forgiving people.
Well, and
that's another thing. We're very inviting.
We just want to fit in. We want to fit in with people that don't look like us.
Yeah, and they don't feel the same way, right? Is it wrong for those individuals to be the way they are? Because are you racist, or are you just rooting for your race to win?
Yeah,
because they're doing
that's a rabbit hole we can go down.
But they're doing what they're supposed to do. If we had that same mentality, think about it. When we were minding our
you find
business,
a fool, you use a fool.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
exactly.
And so we have a tendency to be a race of fools because we don't understand that everything originates with us. You want to go buy the polos, the Tommy Hilfigers, all these different brands when you can actually create your own brand. Create your own brand. You don't need to wear somebody's stuff. For the most part, I wear my own stuff. I wear a lot of Lululemon because I was an ambassador for them, and they're my brand partner when it comes to my brand. Mm-hmm. But 9 times out of 10, if you see me in a hat, I'm in my hat. If it's not Lululemon, I'm in my own shirt. All of that hanging over there, that's mine, and that's what I wear. I don't need to wear and promote somebody else's stuff and make them money. And I will tell you, I was an ambassador with Lululemon. I got all my clothes at 60% off because I was an ambassador. And I still get deals because they're my brand partner. I'm not giving you $130 for some sweats. Yeah, man, please. But man, it's so important for us to understand what the cookout looks like. because even if you are invited to Cookout, man, you can't just show up empty-handed.
No.
And
Have some manners.
especially if you look like the people that are throwing the barbecue, you need to somehow figure out how to put in on what's going on at the barbecue, what's being brought to the barbecue, and be a part of it. And so we solicit other ethnicities to be a part of the barbecue. We solicit, but it comes with a level of responsibility. You can't just show up at the barbecue and not participate.
Right. That's true.
There's a level of responsibility that comes with being a part of the barbecue, the black community, because we have a lot of looky-loos.
But see, even with them, it's some of them they don't have really much to bring at that time, but then they want to learn. They want to get more information.
And that's fine.
And that's totally fine. If you want
fine.
to show up at the barbecue, you're basically contributing because you're trying to find out what we need.
Right.
If you can't just bring something to the barbecue. If we got 39 people bringing potato salad, what you think we gonna be eating on most of the night?
We need
potato salad.
We need some meat.
We need
a whole lot of potato salad.
We need you
some
to
ribs,
get with
some
the
baked
organizers.
beans.
We need to get you to get with the organizers and find out what everybody's bringing. And as the organizers of the barbecue, we need to hand out lists. Say, hey, you bring the baked beans, you bring the barbecue
ribs.
sauce, you bring the ribs. And that's literally how we need to do this. We can't just ask people to show up to the barbecue and not tell them what we need. No.
Well, some people will ask you, like, this is what I got going there. Okay, I'm going to bring this. We'll do that. Let's have a table of dessert. Which kind of dessert you going to bring? I don't want no potato salad with no raisins in it. Don't do that because you will be uninvited.
Yeah,
because I'm going to hit it. I'm going to be like, what is this? You got roaches in here.
She just said raisins in the potato salad.
You know they do that. Don't do that.
But, yeah, it's we just have to understand, too, man, it's like we have to be open-minded of other people's cultures because there's a lot of stuff from other people's cultures that we can infuse into in our own culture to make it better. Just like vice versa. A lot of stuff in the black community we can fuse into other people's culture because when you really dig into black history, Asian people are a significant part of the black culture. When you really dig into the Asian culture, bro, they're so tied in with the black culture, like from way back in the day. And like even when you go to Asian countries, so you'll go over there and find Asian people that are 100% Asian, 100%, and you're like, they look just like us. And so, yeah, but you know, we definitely have to be specific and be very diligent in how we move in our black community because people are watching us.
Always.
And it's important that if we're going to have a standard of excellence in the black community, we're going to have to hold ourselves to that same standard. I say this all the time: is you cannot put your expectations that you have for yourself on someone else. Everybody has their own expectations. Because when I start putting my expectations that I have of me on you, it's unfair.
Yeah.
It's unfair. We both have had different life experiences. We've gone through different things. You can't do that. But there still has to be a standard.
Mm-hmm.
We all have to have a standard. And I feel like as long as we operate at a high standard, we can mesh everything together.
But what is the standard? Is your standard your core, your everyday?
Your standard are the core things, the morals and your ethics and those things that don't have a huge realm to play in. Like people ask me all the time, and I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna close the show out. Is like for me, when it comes to politics, I'm not Democrat or Republican. I'm right or wrong.
Right. Exactly. I'm the same way.
Yeah, I'm right or wrong.
I'm the same way.
I don't put no label on it because I feel like when you put labels on things, that gives you an excuse to hide out and a reason to do things that you shouldn't do. It boils down to right and wrong. You're right or wrong. That's it.
Right.
That's it. I don't care what your skin color is or who you stand with. It's right or wrong. Doesn't matter. Man, that was I love that topic, man, and I like how we have fun with it. But at the same time, we're really entering some tough times in our corporation. We're gonna call it a corporation because that's what it is. It's not a country. And if we don't band together, it's gonna be a
And I just I don't want to, sorry about that, but I just want to also let the people know that because we're going through this, if you, whatever you believe in, and I'm a person that serves God, just stay strong, because it's like me being out here by myself is a challenge, but also I always lean into faith. In Proverbs 24:10, it says, if you faint in the day of distress, how small is your strength? And that's just a reminder.
Yep.
And I do apologize for interrupting Tim.
No, hey, sometimes when God puts something on your heart, you better blurt it out, or else you'll forget it. And it's so important. It's like everybody wants to have faith until it's time to exercise faith. And a lot of people don't understand what faith is. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and evidence of things not seen. It simply means that you got to have faith when you can't see it. You got to have faith when you can't touch it. You got to have faith when you don't see a way.
Yeah.
That is the meaning of faith. It's not when I know what my options are or I know what the result. It's like when you absolutely don't know and you got to lean into faith. And so our faith is going to be tested. And like you said, whoever it is you serve, you better draw closer to him, because we're approaching those days, man, where you're not gonna get through this by yourself. Yeah, you ain't gonna get through this by yourself. So we encourage you guys, man, to whoever it is that you give thanks and who you pray to, increase and strengthen that relationship, because it's gonna be important. We as a community, we as a people, we as a corporation, we're going to have to draw together. We cannot be divided and expect to get through this, because we are literally talking about possible civil wars.
Yep.
And I know we've been laughing and joking about it, but this thing is serious, and we need to take it serious. And so, yeah, man, this was a topic of discussion that definitely needed. Want to thank Floyd, because this was a topic that he came up with.
Thank you, Floyd.
And so, yeah. Find out, check that list and see who's invited to the barbecue, and also see what the requirements are to join the barbecue.
Right.
Right.
Some of y'all don't qualify. I'm telling you. But I just want to thank everybody. I just want to thank our guests.
Yeah,
thank you.
You gotta come back.
Unexpectedly, you're right.
You gotta come back.
It's Tim invite me to the cookout again.
Hold on, bro.
You gotta come back.
Slow your roll. We talk about coming back after the show. We got to do exit interviews first. No, I'm just kidding. She knows she's always welcome. I love her. I love her spirit. I love her energy.
Good heart. Good heart.
LeBron, you don't anoint yourself the GOAT. You let your peers tell you the GOAT.
I heard that from my mother. You know that? But I got a good heart.
Good heart. I got a good heart. Okay, let me finish with my list. That was one. She's got a good heart, y'all. But we want to thank everybody that tuned in today. We want to thank you for your time. Like I said, we don't take it for granted, so we really appreciate you giving us any bit of your time. Like I said, we want to thank our hosts, our guest hosts, for coming on the show. This was very last minute, and she did not know about it until probably 20 minutes before the show started. But all of y'all that are on her page, that's encouraging her. Why is that? That is a. Oh my God!
Then you gonna put my business out.
I got makeup on. All of y'all that's on her Instagram or social media, that's telling her she needs to have her own show, you're absolutely right. I feel like she would do really, really well having her own home podcast or her own show. She definitely has a spirit and a personality for it. But thank you guys for tuning in. Until we see you next time, love, peace,
and soul.